Welcome to the Next Step Fantasy Football Podcast, where we help you take the next step.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Next Step Fantasy Football Podcast. My name is Jake, and I'm joined by my friend Jordan. Jordan, how you doing?
Wonderful.
Living
Jake,
the
thanks for
dream.
asking. Yeah, I'm doing great.
It's a good day.
Yeah, Jake and I are over here before we start recording, and we're, wheeling and dealing, talking trades.
And why are we
It's that time
talking
of year.
trades?
It's that time of year.
It's the trade deadline for most leagues this week. On your sleeper apps, there's a big red lettering. It's like, hey, it's trade deadline week. You won't be able to make moves. At first I saw that and I was like, oh my God, what does this mean? But, which means it's trade. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of go over who we like this week, that sort of thing that we've been doing. But then also, we're going to answer some trade questions. Which side of, what do you like? What do you don't like? So that sort of thing. So it'll be a quick episode today, but that's all right. It's going to be fun. And then hopefully, we're only 3 weeks away from the fantasy playoffs, Jordan.
That's so stressful.
I know, right?
I got to turn some things around in some of my leagues.
Right? So, Jordan, why don't you hit him with the news?
All right. Really the biggest news out of this week, Jake. Dak Prescott.
Poor Dak.
Yep. He undergoing surgery. So he had a hamstring injury. And then it was like, oh, we'll miss a couple of weeks. And then it was like, oh, it's separated from the bone. And then it was like, oh, he's going to need surgery.
What a wimp.
Season ender. Cooper Rush shows up, manages 45 measly yards in a absolute whooping by the Eagles, 34-6. So talk to me about what the future of the Dallas Cowboys is. In general, also fantasy football. There's some key players there, mostly CeeDee Lamb.
Mostly CeeDee Lamb.
What does that mean?
It's a hit. It's terrible. This is terrible news. Just awful news. I mean, he put up 8 points and a half-point PPR this past week. I think that. I mean, that's kind of I think his floor is very low. That's what happens. If Cooper Rush is terrible, and the problem is that if you start Trey Lance, that's not going to be any better because he's just terrible. He deserves an award for just scamming the NFL. Like he was like, guys, get down. Sorry, guys, my dog's right over here.
You can mute yourself.
I could have muted myself, but
I want the
people
Trey
to know.
Lance shows up and he's like, get down.
Like he's terrible. He's like really bad. So,
well, he could have a resurgence. Like it's the same as some of those other guys, who are finding their way, like Baker Mayfield.
It's
Sam
not.
Darnold.
It's not the same.
Yeah, it's not the same.
It's not the
Trey
same.
Lance?
Not for Trey Lance.
Okay.
Anyone watching on the YouTube side, this can see my puppy. This is Winston. He's a good boy.
Yeah. Oh,
Anyway, Winston, Winnie the Bish.
Winston, what are your thoughts about the Dallas Cowboys?
They're terrible. That's what he says.
They're terrible.
He's saddened by them.
Jake, 2 other comments here. One's a question.
Yeah.
Can the Kansas City Chiefs lose?
Yes. This is
Or
just.
is there some
This
voodoo
is
magic
just
surrounding them
horse.
this year?
Horse, you know what? This is just dumb. They should have like 3 losses by now. And they just keep getting away with it. I was watching that game and I'm like, oh, Adam's probably so thrilled. And then nothing. And then just block. And I'm like, God dang it.
Yeah. So no, I think they can't lose. I think they got some magic dust.
17-0.
this year. Yeah, come on.
17-0, lose to the Lions. Super Bowl.
Last thing is, last week when we were on the episode, you pitched a question to me, and I feel like I fumbled the response. Which
Yes,
was,
you did.
Of the rookie QBs, what's your order?
Yeah.
And for some reason, I was like hyping up Caleb Williams. And
He's been
I
bad
haven't
for
really
2
watched
weeks.
that much tape.
Yeah.
And I watched part of the game, and I was just embarrassed that my take even had Caleb Williams.
It's a
anywhere near
shame
the
too.
podium.
It's a shame too because it's like you can blame the offensive line because they're terrible. They are awful.
Well, so
He-
is Drake
he is-
May's offensive line.
He is also holding the ball longer than almost anyone.
Yeah.
Like he's not letting go when he's also getting sacked. I heard this morning he's being sacked the most times when his offensive line does their job. So when they do their job, he's the most sacked quarterback in the NFL because he's just holding on to it. he could run around. It's what he could do in college, but he can't get away with that in the NFL,
No,
So,
that's for sure.
yeah.
So anyway, I'd like to change that order, that it's no longer Caleb Williams. I think I said like second or third place, which is just terrible. He's
Yeah.
just a solid fourth place.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. That was my news, and then just some side commentary.
Of course. All right, let's talk about who we like this week going into Thursday. We got the Commanders Eagles, another good game. Love that, right? Really,
Oh yeah.
2 back-to-back good games. Again, these are lower guys that you might have to start in a pinch. How about Noah Brown? He's playing like 80% of snaps or something like that. So
Yeah.
a guy who is playing had a touchdown in his hand last week. Just an atrocious drop. Like it was like right in his face, and he just ugh.
So he'll bounce back.
So he'll bounce back. I mean,
if he learns from his mistakes, he'll bounce back.
yeah. Again, it's a flex play in a deeper league. It's this is a good example of one of those. He's the wide receiver 2 in a decent offense.
Yeah. It's also there's all the other guys that are fantasy relevant. You're probably starting. This problem with the Eagles, like Jalen Hurts is on a tear, Saquon's on a tear. You're not going to not start AJ Brown or Devontae Smith. Terry McLaurin, Jaden Daniels. All these guys are starting no matter what. So we're looking at someone who you might not, right? Like you might not be starting normally. So he's seen 6 or more targets in the last 3 games, and that's what I love to see. You mentioned playing 80% of the snaps. He's really found himself as the number 2 weapon in that offense.
Yep.
Love it.
Yeah, so give him a flyer. Who we got next, Jordan?
Next, we have Audric Estime. I wish Adam was here.
Man, I've wished Adam was here.
I wish Adam was here. I made this graphic, actually. I'll just a little peek behind the curtains. We made this graphic, the interns did, and they used his old number.
Ugh.
Apparently mid-season change of number, and only Adam.
He was like, hold up.
Only Adam would say, whoa. He switched his number. Make sure you switch the graphic. So don't worry, we have his correct number of 23. But reason that we like him, poor Javonte Williams. Got 1 carry last week.
What happened there?
I don't know. But Audric Estime seems to be taking over that backfield. And so, again, just kind of riding that 14 carries to Javonte's 1. The only thing I'd love to see is have him a little bit more involved in that passing game. I'd love to see some checkdowns from Bo next to him. That would be really nice.
That would be nice.
I think just the percent, carries that he's getting makes him worth starting.
Correct. Again, deeper league pull. Like that you're in a deep league.
Yep.
If that's where you're starting. Going on to Justin Herbert against the Bengals. This is really simple. The Bengals shouldn't put up points, which means he's going to have to throw the ball. He's also doing quite well, actually, so far this year. The Chargers are now going with we're super not interesting, but we win route versus like other years where they're interesting and then they lose a lot. So this is pretty simple. He's going to be just outside the top 10. He's quarterback 2, but gives quarterback 1 numbers, I think, this week.
Yeah, I also think the Bengals' defense is not good.
Oh, no. Not that.
That you mentioned the Bengals offense can put up points. The Bengals defense is pretty leaky for that reason. I think that is. How many interceptions do you think Justin Herbert has, Jake, this year?
Not 1. No, I'm going to go 4.
He has 1.
Oh, only 1.
He has 1 interception. Only 11 touchdowns, though. But the last couple of weeks, he's been scoring touchdowns. That's what I like to see.
Yeah, that's true. Like, are you happy with he finishes the year with 22 touchdowns and 2 picks?
Who
not for fantasy.
Is Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah, not for fantasy.
That's Jim Harbaugh's dream.
Jeez. And then again, Monday night we got. This is tough. You go with the quarterback for the Cowboys. There's no way in heck you're starting any of them. How about John? Yeah, how about John Mechie, former Alabama receiver? If you remember, he had lymphoma his rookie year, so he spent the entire rookie. Is this his first full year then?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Scored a touchdown last week. He's playing he's playing a bunch of snaps. So again, flyer. You're on the field with C.J. Stroud. He's clearly taking that number 2 role right now, and this is assuming that Nico Collins is not playing, right?
I think Nico will probably play.
You think so?
Yeah. But I still think he's starting to get more involved. He scored a touchdown.
I mean,
He just wasn't
he's
involved,
number
and I think he's
3.
found his place.
He's
I
number
think he's
3.
found his place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
better if Nico doesn't play.
yeah, this is the opposite. This is the opposite problem that we had in the Commanders-Eagles game. Is that in the Commanders-Eagles, there's so much good talent. You have to kind of dig down the roster.
There
to
ain't
find the guy
enough talent here.
that you're gonna play. And here it's like I don't want to touch any Cowboys. Rico Dowdle was the only other one that I was like on the fence about. But even still, like I don't. Their rush offense is terrible, and Cooper Rush offers you nothing.
I think there's only 3 like guaranteed guys who are probably starting, and that's Stroud, Lamb, and Joe Mixon. Yeah.
Yep.
Those Tank Dell's probably starting in most leagues right now, but just yikes here.
Tough.
All right, let's get into some of these trades. Jordan, because we didn't show prep beforehand at all, how many of these do you want to do?
We'll just start firing them off, and we'll see how
All right.
time goes.
Now, there are some dynasty ones in here, so it's worth
All right.
mentioning, right?
Okay.
So, let's see. I had it here, and now I lost it. Just lost it. All right. How about this one? So this is a dynasty win now team. Are you trading Jalen Waddle for Chris Olave?
Giving away Jalen.
You're giving away Jalen Waddle, and you're getting Chris Olave.
No.
No. So you'd rather have Waddle?
I'd rather have Waddle with what seems to be a healthy Tua.
Yeah.
Chris Olave has also been hurt. He's been banged up.
Yeah, he's like
He
a
hasn't
poor
played
man's
last couple
Tua.
weeks.
Like he's getting concussions left and
He's
right.
getting concussed left and right.
He's just not doing the weird finger thing.
It's just. I think
It's
just
close.
generally speaking, that is a close
Yeah.
match. When you're saying win now, like this is my year to win.
Yeah.
I would lean towards Jalen Waddle in an offense that is in a team that's desperate. Like I think the Saints are not competing.
Correct.
I think the Dolphins are still trying to find their way back.
I would 100% agree with you. All right, here's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Would you trade Nico Collins right now? So he's coming back from injury.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry to interrupt the podcast in the middle of this. I have to yell at my dog. 1 sec. All right, I'm back.
I hope you listen.
Would you trade Nico Collins right now for CeeDee Lamb and Kareem Hunt?
In a dynasty?
Nope, redraft.
That is a extremely interesting.
It is because you obviously want CeeDee Lamb more than you wanted Nico Collins, just based on like name recognition. They're pretty similar in my eyes. Going not seeing what we saw. If you're talking week 4, like right?
Yeah, this would be different.
You see Nico Collins killing it. You see CeeDee Lamb killing it, and then Kareem Hunt's been good, but Pacheco will be back eventually. So it's interesting to see what happens there, but. I think for me, I think I'd rather just have Nico because I don't want the headache.
I would say the opposite. I would say don't get cute. I would say don't get cute and try and play this idea of like, oh, what could be blah blah blah. Like someone's got to catch passes. Why can't it be CD?
Well, because he throws for 45 yards.
Yeah, but how many of those were to CD Lamb?
That's true. I mean, you're not wrong.
I'm looking right now because I want to make sure I. Don't.
Yeah, I mean it's not going to be great.
6 receptions for 21 yards.
So they were almost exclusively to him.
Yep. So, no, I would say the talent matters. Nico is awesome, but CD's also the talent is there.
Yeah.
Nico's coming back from an injury that is an unknown.
Correct.
You kind of know what you're going to get with CD. Kareem Hunt has a lot of upside right now, I would say. I and the feeling of like I'd rather just keep Nico. But I'm also like, if you can get 2 players, you're probably starting.
True. All right. Would you trade Breece Hall and DeAndre Hopkins, the new Kansas City receiver who's been playing pretty well, for Bijan Robinson?
Yes.
Easy? Like you're not thinking twice
Brees
about that?
Hall, Brees Hall and DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah.
For Bijan Robinson, yes.
Easy. Like it's not even a question.
Not even a question.
Okay. Well,
I gotta look. I gotta look at the stats. Hold on.
All right.
My gut reaction is that's not a question.
All right. Cool. This is easy.
Bijan's running back 3. Come on,
Oh.
bring him in.
Bring him in.
Yeah, let's
Don't
go.
get cute.
Yep.
All right. You trading Tyrone Tracy and Jalen Reed for Nico. That's
To
interesting.
bring Nico in.
Yeah. I think that really depends on what your other receivers look like. I think, like, what does
Well,
your
Jalen
team...
Reed's playing great. Too.
Jalen, that's what I'm saying. So it's like, and Tracy has been really good, too, since he started.
Yeah, I mean, he had 100 odd yards the other day.
So, for me, I think that one is more, are you set at running back? Where's Tracy, right? Like,
yes.
Example, my home league, my running backs, Derrick Henry, Kenneth Walker, Tony Pollard, Kareem Hunt, and Ramondre Stevenson. So in that case, I'm more willing to give up Ramondre Stevenson because he's like my running back 4 on my team, right?
Yep.
Where's Tracy in that for you right now? Like, are you starting him every week because you have to, or are you starting him every week because you want to?
Yep.
Because obviously,
That's
I think
true. If you're sitting and you have 2 guys and there, two other running backs who are starting for you every single week.
Yeah.
Then yes, because the Tyrone Tracy thing is the one that makes it.
Yeah, because
like, that's a solid.
I don't think
start.
that the difference between Reed and Nico is as big as Tracy. I think Tracy's been really good. Over 100 yards on over
20 carries, 16 carries, 18.
Oh, that's
carries, 100
and
yards,
it's so
2
valuable.
touchdowns. Yeah, like that's hard to that would be difficult to walk away from.
Correct. So
From
that
running
for
back,
me
yeah.
for that one for me it's more of a if you're questioning, ooh, do I have the depth? Then don't do it.
Yeah.
All right, this one's rest of the season. Would you trade Travis Kelce? I'm sorry, would you trade Trey McBride for Travis Kelce? Rest of the season.
No.
You'd rather have McBride?
Oh no, I'm sorry. I would give up Trey McBride for Travis Kelce.
You would? He has
Yeah.
come on a lot.
Yes.
Okay, thanks for really adding to that.
Yeah. Well, sorry. I thought you had more to say.
No,
I'm
it's
agreeing
just-
with you. Yes. No. I just like because this is just me on the fly right now. I'm
Yeah.
looking up the stats on the side. Travis Kelce just leapfrogs Trey McBride as tight end 3.
Oh, really?
That's the same. To me, that is from a fantasy perspective, they're the same player for you right now. Go with one of the greatest tight ends
Correct.
of all time. I don't want to get into is he the greatest, but
I
one of
like that
them,
one.
for sure.
All right, redraft. Would you give away Derrick Henry? So, like,
No.
let me just start by saying this: if you're giving away Derrick Henry, you have to be getting a lot back.
Yeah.
So I don't.
Basically, no, unless you.
I don't know who would do like. I figure when people ask these trades, then they've been offered, right? Would
Yeah.
you give Derrick Henry for Josh Jacobs and Garrett Wilson?
No.
He says here, wide receiver needy. So he
Josh
is,
Jacobs.
and Garrett Wilson,
Listen,
and he does need a receiver. So what he's saying is, I'm getting a really talented receiver who has been good in the last few
go
weeks.
get a different receiver. If you're gonna give up Derrick Henry, go get someone else that isn't in an offense.
Like what?
That
Like, are you talking like a Drake London?
who's the right?
A DK? Like, what are you like? A Marvin Harrison? Like, what? See, the problem is you're giving up Henry, so you need to you'd want better than this,
It's hard, and
Give me Justin Jefferson and Jacobs.
this feeling, this reaction I have about Garrett Wilson has everything to do with the Jets, not with how he's playing. I think he's a top 5 receiver right now. I can look.
Like in fantasy,
Yes,
I don't think
he's
so.
wide receiver 3.
Is he really?
Yeah, it's just my gut reactions at what is happening to the New York Jets, and they brought in Devontae Adams.
You're like, I want no part of this.
It's a sinking ship. It's like, do you really want someone that's but
Yeah. I hear you. I hear you. All right, I got one more for you before we end it here, all right? Oh, here. Sorry.
He's still living off his 23 target game
Jeez.
against Minnesota.
Jeez. Don's in the chat. He asked a question. He says Stafford or Russell this week, week 11, full point PPR, one quarterback.
All right. Stafford plays. I'm just gonna pull up the schedule here.
Yeah.
Stafford at New England,
Okay.
and
New
then
England's always got a decent defense.
Russ hosting the Ravens. That one, Russ.
Yeah, I mean, the Ravens defense has just been that bad. Plus, they're going to have to throw. They're going to have to throw it. So,
Yep.
Yeah, I think I'd go
I'd say
Russ there as well.
Yep.
All right, last one. Redraft. Saquon Barkley and Cortland Sutton for Breece Hall and Amon-Ra St. Brown. That's a good one in my eyes. That's a good trade.
So you're giving away Cortland Sutton and
Or you could just say side A is getting Saquon Barkley and Cortland Sutton, and side B is getting Breece Hall and Amon-Ra.
that is super challenging.
I think for me, I'm taking Breece Hall and Amon-Ra. Because if I'm just comparing the two factors, right? So Saquon, Breece Hall, I think we want Saquon, right? I think we can agree on that. But it's not terribly far, right? I think the difference between Cortland Sutton and Amon-Ra St. Brown is pretty large. I actually think Cortland Sutton has, if you want to look this up too, Jordan, has been really good actually this season. Quietly has been getting like 60 yards and a touchdown like every week. So go ahead.
Yeah, just the math makes you want the Amon-Ra side.
Correct.
Cortland Sutton's wide receiver 16, which to me is an overperformance.
Correct. Yes.
You know,
Amon-Ra's what, like 5?
6.
Yeah.
Wide receiver 6.
So
by like a smidge, literally by like 0.2 points.
So we're talking about a 11 player difference right now. And what's the difference between Saquon and Breece Hall?
4 to 8.
So you see, that's what I'm saying. That's why I think Amon-Ra and Breece Hall is the call there. Because the gap between the other two is so much larger, or the receivers is larger. And then Don in the chat says one more. Will Mike Evans get 1,000 yards? He needs to average 95 yards a game to hit it.
No.
I'm gonna say no. But I will say I don't want to bet against it.
I
hope he gets it.
I
hope he gets it. I hope he gets it. I just don't think he will because of the injury. I mean, you lose 4 games.
Yeah.
That's tough.
North of 30.
North of 30. 95 yards a game is going to be tough to hit. So,
yeah. It seems like the Bucs, sorry Don, the Bucs they got to do some soul searching.
They got bigger fish to fry.
Injuries. They are in trouble.
They sure are. All right, guys, there you have it for week 11? Week 11. Only a few weeks to your fantasy playoffs. If you have any trade questions, drop them on our Facebook page. We can hopefully answer those. Next Step Fantasy Football Podcast on Facebook. Jordan, is there anything else you want to say?
Got to get those dubs this week. Get yourself into the playoffs.
Yes, we
That's
got to
all that
get there.
matters.
We got to get
Just
there.
get to the playoffs. Yep.
All right.